would I summarize 2023? Snowy?
This has kind of been like a year of moving on and calming down.
It's a bit of relief.
I think I really enjoyed being Minnesotan.
As I was working on the HCMC story, I think that I was really hoping that folks would get a really deep look at what healthcare looks like. You know, these are people that are sacrificing so much to take care of you. And I wanted them to see that sacrifice, but I also wanted them to see that there are people outside of that too. You know, the head of the ER at HCMC is also in a band called King Muskie, and he plays at bars downtown.
I really enjoyed working on this story about Heather Meyer. It was a story about a woman named Heather who died in a BDSM relationship, and it was a mysterious death. It was a touchy subject for people to talk about, even though it's very common. The cooperation from some of the people in the story was a huge deal, and I was really proud of them.
The most important work I did this year is the Abuse Project. We worked with a lot of families of victims of kids who were subjected to abuse that, should have been intervened in by the state or the county. Spent a lot of time with people, opening up about some really tragic events that happened in their life, and just spend time with them and get to know how that impact has changed who they are today.
One of the things that stood out the most for me this year was working on the Project Loaded about gun violence in Minnesota. The thing that continues to surprise me is the resiliency of the people who have dealt with gun violence in their lives and how they are able to not just overcome what has happened to them, but be able to thrive and help other people in the process.
Love wins. Here you go.
I really enjoyed working on a story about Hildy Edwards, a 13-year-old transgender activist who has helped pass a bill that made Minnesota a transgender refuge state. When the bill passed the Senate, she was in the spectator viewing area above the Senate. It was a very emotional moment for her, her family, and the people attending. So I really felt the joy they experienced at the time. Yeah.
I almost feel like 2023 was a rebuilding year. '23 was kind of the beginning of a lot of things.
I covered the champagne celebration for the Twins when they won the ALC championship for the first time at home since 2010. And it was just a ball to cover my whole body in waterproof material, and my cameras, and just get completely drenched in champagne. When I got home that night, I had goggles on my head because I had had them on my eyes, and they were cemented into my hair.
We followed the Maple Grove hockey team after they won their section final leading into the state tournament. And they were like one of the favorite teams going in. So it was kind of cool to be with the team, kind of embed ourselves with them for the whole week leading up from their section win and then getting ready to go into state. And unfortunately, they actually were lost in the first game of the state tournament. If you ever think you know what's going to happen, things never really turn out that way. So I usually keep an open mind coming into these things because you just never know. That's the one thing I've kind of learned to this point where there's nothing that can be predicted.
I think one of the most memorable moments this year was at the Minnesota State Fair, where we spent, I don't know, it was probably close to 10 hours sampling, photographing, Instagramming, and TikToking every single new food at the State Fair. And it was delicious, but exhausting.
You know, I had like 5 minutes of just like really beautiful light when the light from the fair kind of turns on, and then you have that like dusk light where the sun is setting. And to be able to get that perspective of the midway was really interesting. And I ended up having a 12-column photo run from it, which is super cool. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a 12-column wide photo show.
We also, this year, David Joel and Brian Peterson retired, two of like the legends of the photo staff here. So huge shoes to fill there, but I think it was just cool to be able to take moments to like recognize their long years of service and work. I'm really looking forward to in 2024 getting opportunities to travel to more parts of the state, to see more of it, to meet more people, and you know, I think we have a duty as a paper to cover more of the Minneapolis-St. Paul, and I think that, you know, we've done a good job of it in the past, but I think our new mission really does strive to like really dig into the rest of the state.